The first episode of Death Note sets the stage for an intriguing and suspenseful story. It introduces the two main characters, Lightyagami and Ryuk, and establishes the central premise of the series. Light, a highly intelligent and morally upright high school student, comes into possession of a mysterious notebook called the Death Note. The notebook grants the user the power to kill anyone whose name is written in it, as long as the user knows their face. The episode effectively establishes Light's character and his internal struggle as he contemplates the implications of possessing such a powerful tool. The appearance of the Shinigami death god Ryuk adds an element of otherworldly intrigue and sets the tone for the supernatural aspects of the series. The animation style and art direction of Death Note are well executed, with a dark and atmospheric aesthetic that complements the serious and psychological nature of the story. The music and sound design also enhance the suspenseful atmosphere. Overall, the first episode of Death Note is an engaging and thought-provoking introduction to the series. It effectively lays the foundation for the cat-and-mouse game that unfolds between Light, who seeks to create a utopian world by eliminating criminals, and the enigmatic detective known as L, who is determined to stop him. Episode 2 of Death Note, titled Confrontation, continues the thrilling story, which grants him the power to kill anyone whose name he writes in it. In this episode, Light begins to experiment with the Death Note's capabilities and hones his skills as a vigilante known as Kira. In this episode, Light becomes more confident in his ability to control who dies by using the Death Note. He starts testing the limits of the notebook's powers, using it to kill criminals and those he deems unworthy of living. Light's actions do not go unnoticed, as a mysterious detective known as L starts investigating the unusual string of deaths and believes that someone named Kira is responsible. Confrontation sets the stage for the ongoing battle of wits between Light and L, who are both determined to outsmart each other. The episode further explores the moral implications of Light's actions, as he grapples with his newfound power and the consequences it carries. The animation style and artwork in Death Note are known for their dark and atmospheric tone, which complements the psychological and suspenseful nature of the story. The series is renowned for its intricate plot, intelligent writing, and complex characters, making it a highly regarded psychological thriller. Overall, Episode 2 of Death Note continues to deliver the tension and intrigue established in the first episode, setting the foundation for an engrossing cat-and-mouse game between Light and L. If you enjoy psychological dramas with moral dilemmas and intense mind games, Death Note is definitely worth watching. Episode 3 of Death Note is titled Dealings. In this episode, we witness the continued cat-and-mouse game between the two main characters, Lightyagami and the enigmatic detective known as L. In this episode, Light becomes aware of L's suspicion towards him and realizes the need to be more careful and strategic in his actions. L, on the other hand, continues to gather information and narrows down his list of suspects, focusing on those who have access to police information. The episode primarily revolves around Light's attempts to manipulate his father, who is a police officer, in order to gain inside information about the investigation. Light successfully plants a false lead, causing his father to pursue the wrong person as Kira, the name given to the mysterious killer who uses the Death Note. The tension between Light and L intensifies, with both characters displaying their intelligence and strategic thinking. The episode effectively showcases the mind games being played by both sides, as Light tries to outmaneuver L while L remains vigilant and analytical. From a narrative standpoint, Episode 3 of Death Note is well-paced and continues to build the intrigue and suspense that the series is known for. The character development of Light and L is further explored, shedding light on their complex personalities and motivations. The animation and visual style of Death Note remain consistent in this episode, with dark and atmospheric scenes enhancing the overall tone of the series. The voice acting is also strong, effectively conveying the nuances and emotions of the characters. Overall, Episode 3 of Death Note maintains the gripping nature of the series, further immersing viewers into the battle of wits between Light and L. It successfully sets the stage for future confrontations and keeps the audience engaged with its clever storytelling and intriguing. In Episode 4 of Death Note, titled Pursuit, the story continues with Lightyagami using the Death Note to eliminate criminals and establish himself as the godlike figure, Kira. Here is a summary of the events that took place in Episode 4. Light devises a plan to test the legitimacy of the Death Note by killing a man who has taken hostages in a nursery school. By controlling the victim's actions, Light ensures that the criminal is killed in a way that appears as a heart attack. The mysterious detective known as L continues to investigate the Kira case, suspecting that Light might be involved. He organizes a broadcast, addressing Kira directly and challenging him to kill him on live television. Light, watching the broadcast, contemplates whether he should take this opportunity to eliminate L. However, he decides against it, realizing that it would only further raise suspicions. As the police force investigates the Kira case, they discuss possible motives and speculate on the identity of Kira. Meanwhile, L continues to manipulate the media to influence public opinion and gather information. Light becomes more cautious and paranoid about the investigation, especially with L's involvement. He starts suspecting that L might be able to deduce his true identity as Kira. In episode 5 of Death Note, titled, Tactics, the story continues with Lightyagami, the high school student who possesses the Death Note, a notebook that grants him the power to kill anyone whose name he writes in it. Here is a summary of the events that took place in episode 5. Light begins to doubt whether the Death Note truly has the power to kill people as he becomes suspicious of the supernatural nature of the notebook. Light decides to experiment by writing down the name of a criminal whose face he doesn't know. He tests the Death Note's ability to control a person's actions before their death. The criminal he targets is Rapin Burr, an FBI agent who is investigating the Kira case. Light successfully manipulates Pinbur's actions using the Death Note and eventually leads him to his death. Meanwhile, L continues his investigation into Kira's identity. He suspects that Kira may be able to control the actions of his victims before their death, and this suspicion leads him to believe that Kira has access to the police database. L orders the police to insert fake information into the database to test Kira's capabilities. Light, who is a part of the investigation team, manages to use his intelligence and knowledge to manipulate the situation in his favor, avoiding suspicion. Light also meets Misa Amane, a famous model who is a devoted follower of Kira. Misa becomes infatuated with Light and offers her assistance to him. In episode 6 of the Death Note anime series, titled Unraveling, Lightyagami continues his mission to eliminate criminals using the Death Note. Light becomes aware that there is an FBI agent named Rapin Burr who is investigating the mysterious deaths of criminals. Light decides to use the Death Note to manipulate Rapin Burr into revealing the names of other FBI agents and their superiors. Light manages to meet Rapin Burr's fiancée, Naomi Masora, and learns about her relationship with him. He uses this information to manipulate her as well, leading to her revealing crucial information about the FBI investigation. Meanwhile, L continues to investigate the pattern of deaths and suspects that the person behind it is a student due to the killings taking place during specific time intervals. L narrows down his suspect list to those with access to police databases and confronts the Director General of the NPA, National Police Agency, believing him to be the prime suspect. The episode ends with Lightyagami realizing that L suspects him and feeling a growing sense of tension between the two of them as they engage in a psychological battle.